For me, the story is quite different than for most people because I come from an activist family. So my political ideas came from my father, my mother, my great grandfather. Down the line. Um, and they so I was born to a really quite a radical family in that sense, and my mom was like the first person in the family to graduate from college and try to start going to law school. So I grew up listening to Violeta Parra and Soledad Bravo and all those Latin American folk singers that were part of the revolutionary movements of back in the day. And then for some reason, then I got into rock music and then into punk. And because rock music was all these huge stages and all that, and to me, punk was that reaction against that, was this little thing. And so anyway, so I came from there. My politics didn't come from punk. And then punk gave me the DIY, the fact that everybody can do it themselves, that everybody can, which incorporated the best of both worlds. It's like, oh, we were trying to change the world somehow, and saying, okay, we can do this. So then I became part of the punk scene in Colombia, where it's really hard to do anything. And then when I moved here, I became part of the DIY punk scene here, which was very contradictory because at the time most of the political punk scene was mostly white and mostly middle class. And so here I come from Colombia with all these ideas of revolution and change and all that. And I thought I was going to find all these like-minded people inside the punk scene here. But here they were concerned with all this politics that was so strange to me. And there was a lot of infighting. For us, the state was the enemy, the system was the enemy, and whatever differences we had between us, we had fights and all that, but we knew that the enemy was the state. And here, I guess, because of privilege, people were more concerned about dressing and looking a certain way and all that. So that's how it got to me. And so then I became I tried to incorporate both worlds and keep going with it. And also the fact that I became undocumented, otherwise illegal for a long time. And then I met Jane, and thanks to her, which she fought for me a lot and went to bat for myself and my family, I became legalized in a way that you cannot be legalized anymore. So I was one of the last people that was able to get documents, even though I crossed the border, which is now not possible for most cases, not all cases. So they made it a lot harder after me. So that becomes a part of what our political identity is, or what we want to say, because I think everything is politics. So many people who say I'm not political, that's a privilege that we don't have, and that's a political statement in of itself, saying I'm comfortable enough with where I am.
I mean, I would just say that DIY, do-it-yourself punk spirit to me is very connected to a grassroots spirit and activism. So, we're not doing things the top-down official way, just in the grassroots. So to me, that's one big connection. And then just the connection of resisting the status quo politically and culturally.
And what do your lyrics talk about?
Our lyric?
What don't they talk about?
Well, the main focus of our lyrics at first is who we are. We talk about the things we feel and the things we live. Like I cannot talk about, I don't know, something that's not me. So we talk a lot about our status of immigrants, our confronting racism, confronting a sexist system, a patriarchal system, an anti-immigrant system. And also because we grew up I didn't grow up that much in New York, in the United States, but my brothers did, and I could see how they were, like, in these neighborhoods, kids were being hunted. So we talk about that, like the police sets up raids against them, and we see all these things on our neighborhood. So that's what we talk about. And then we talk about our experiences and where we come from. Milka writes a lot about, like, the political situation in Mexico, and because she's Mexican and we're both Colombian. And Jane has never written a song about the Midwest, but maybe soon.
Yeah, I don't write the lyrics. But Amilcar could say something about the lyrics that he writes.
Well, it depends on my mood. No, yeah, as he says, we talk about our situation, what we face every day as immigrants, as illegal immigrants, as they say, and that's basically what we're about. And yeah, and that about anything, like about our sadness, our anger, our and all those emotions and we face every day at work. Like virtually, we have to work like a long periods of time every day and during many years. So right now, I just got my work permit, which is something that I haven't experienced before. Right? I got like some paid vacations. So and no, and that's how we. That's what the story we're about, and the story I like. Personally, I read about because I'm from the south in Mexico, and it's one of the isolated, more how do you say, olvidadas,
Forgotten
forgotten
areas.
regions, areas in Mexico. Not only Mexico, in the whole world actually, we have a lot of poverty, and that's where that's where I'm from, and my people, the people over there, like my people, they suffer, they go through a lot of stuff. Like see, like the guys in Namatasan guys say, like some in Philippines, some farmers were like actually, protesting and they got killed. We face the same thing every time, every day in Mexico. Actually, right now, the farmers in Mexico right now they're taking over the roads in my home state, my homeland. So that's what I brought about. So people know what we went through. So
And it's also a way to express our anger and our frustrations, and that's why punk is so seemingly violent. The motion and all that is a way that we kind of, it's a cathartic release. And but I also try to write optimistic stuff, like the future is ours. It's just a question of us getting up and taking it. Because like at some point, some people are like, "Oh, you guys are always writing all this." I mean, the world it's a combination of really horrible and beautiful things, and one of the things
one told us you only write dark stuff.
dark stuff. And I but no, we also acknowledge that the people we have to acknowledge the little victories, even if they're little, and the things we have accomplished, and the fact that Sayuri is here and we are here, and we're together at this show today was a victory. It was an amazing show. Everybody left with a smile, and we had cake, and that's amazing. It was the fact that we could come together for like an hour or 2 hours or whatever, and we can share. And then you start dreaming, what if we do this more? What if we become a community? What if we come together tomorrow for coffee and we talk? So that's my optimistic side, that the potential is there if we all just realize it. It's a question of all just realizing it's there.